Rejection, doubt, failure. Every great legend has faced these moments, but what separates the good from the great? The answer is resilience. This is the story of Mohamed Salah, a boy from Egypt who was once rejected by Chelsea, written off by critics, and doubted by many, only to rise and become the king of football. This is not just a football story, it's a story of never giving up, from a small village in Egypt to the biggest stadiums in the world. This is the rise of Mo Salah, from rejected to football king. He came from the dusty fields of Nagreg, a small Egyptian village where dreams seemed too big to come true. He wasn't born with privilege, no silver spoon, no elite academy training, just pure talent and an unstoppable will to succeed. But football can be cruel. One day you're the next big thing. The next? You're sitting on the bench, forgotten, discarded. That's exactly what happened to Mo Salah. He was written off, a Chelsea reject, a player they said wasn't good enough for the Premier League. But let me ask you this, how does a Chelsea reject go on to become a Champions League winner, a two-time Premier League Golden Boot holder, and one of the greatest forwards in football history? This is the incredible story of Mohamed Salah, from rejected to football king. Chapter 1. Humble Beginnings. Our story begins in Nagreg, Egypt, a quiet village far from the bright lights of the Premier League. Here, football isn't just a game, it's a way of life. As a child, Salah wasn't like other kids. He wasn't obsessed with video games or television. He was obsessed with football. He practiced every single day. On the streets, on dirt pitches, with a ball made of rags. If he couldn't find a ball, he'd use oranges. It didn't matter. All that mattered was football. But talent alone isn't enough. You need sacrifice. And Mo Salah, he sacrificed everything. At just 14 years old, Salah made a decision that would change his life. He joined El Moukawloon's youth academy. But there was one problem. The academy was 4 hours away from his home. Every single day, Salah would take a 4-hour journey just to train. That's 8 hours of travel, just to chase a dream. Would you do that? Most kids would quit. But Salah, he was different. He was willing to do whatever it took. And finally, that sacrifice paid off. In 2010, at just 18 years old, he made his debut for El Moukawloon's first team. He was fast, skillful, fearless. Egyptian football had never seen anything like him. And then, the world came calling. Chapter 2. Chelsea Rejection, the Darkest Days. In 2012, Swiss club FC Basel signed Salah. It was his first taste of European football, and in no time, he was making waves. And guess who noticed? Chelsea. One of the biggest clubs in the world. They saw him humiliate them in the Champions League, and they wanted him on their team. In 2014, Mo Salah signed for Chelsea. It should have been a dream come true, but instead, it was a nightmare. He barely played. 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. No starts, no faith. And soon he was forgotten. Chelsea had big names. Hazard, Willian. Mourinho didn't trust Salah. He didn't fit his system. Then, in the blink of an eye, Chelsea gave up on him. He was loaned out to Fiorentina. Forgotten. Left behind. For many players, this would have been the end. But Salah, this was just the beginning. Chapter 3. Rebuilding in Italy. Salah arrived in Italy with one goal, to prove Chelsea wrong. At Fiorentina, he exploded. Speed, dribbling, goals. He was unstoppable. But he wasn't satisfied. In 2016, he moved to Roma, and that's where he became a superstar. In his final season at Roma, Salah scored 19 goals and got 15 assists. He wasn't just good, he was world-class. And then, Liverpool called. Chapter 4. The Liverpool Legacy. Every footballer dreams of a second chance, but second chances don't come often. For Mohamed Salah, this was it. His return to the Premier League. The moment to prove to the world that Chelsea was wrong, that he was not a failure, but a king in the making. In the summer of 2017, Liverpool made their move. They signed Salah from Roma for £36.9 million, a club record at the time. But even then, doubts lingered. The critics spoke, the doubters laughed. But Mo Salah, he had one answer: on the pitch. From the moment he stepped onto the pitch, Salah was a man on a mission. Match day 1, Liverpool versus Watford. Just 57 minutes in. Goal. Mohamed Salah had arrived, and then the goals kept coming, again and again and again. And then came the game that changed everything. The world was watching. Could Salah do it on the biggest stage? Could he carry Liverpool to the Champions League final? Then magic happened.
Mo Salah goes for it again! Oh, Mo Salah! Liverpool's Egyptian!
Minutes later, another goal. An assist. Another assist. Liverpool destroy Roma 5-2, and Mo Salah, he's officially a superstar. That night, even his former Roma teammates stood in awe. They had played alongside him. But this was a different beast. But football is cruel. Just when you think you've reached the top, it finds a way to break you. May 26, 2018. The Champions League final, Liverpool versus Real Madrid, the biggest game of Salah's life, and then disaster. Tears filled his eyes. He knew his Champions League dream was over. Liverpool lost 3-1 that night. Salah's dream had been snatched away. For most players, this would be the moment that breaks them. But Salah, he wasn't finished yet. The pain of Kiev haunted him. But true champions don't break. They rise again. A year later, Salah led Liverpool back to the Champions League final. This time, there was no Ramos. No injury, just one mission: redemption. 90 minutes later, the final whistle blows. Liverpool are champions of Europe, and Salah, he has fulfilled his destiny, from Chelsea's bench to lifting the biggest trophy in club football. What a journey, but Salah wasn't done. There was one more mission, one last mountain to climb. For 30 years, Liverpool had waited. The Premier League title had eluded them since 1990. Could Salah be the one to bring it home? Liverpool dominated. Salah scored, assisted, led by example, and then on June 25, 2020, the impossible happened. Liverpool were crowned Premier League champions. Anfield erupted. Millions celebrated around the world. Salah had ended the drought. He wasn't just a star anymore. He was a legend, from being rejected at Chelsea to becoming a Premier League champion, from being doubted to becoming the greatest forward in Liverpool's modern history. This was no ordinary footballer. This was the King of Anfield. Chapter 5: King of Egypt, a national hero. Football is more than just a game. It's about identity, hope, inspiration. And in Egypt, no player has ever inspired a nation like Mohamed Salah. To the world, Salah is a football superstar, a Premier League champion, a Champions League winner. But to Egypt, he is a symbol of dreams coming true. No Egyptian footballer had ever reached his level of success. And yet, despite the fame, the fortune, the global recognition, Salah never forgot where he came from. October 8, 2017, the air in the stadium is electric. Egypt versus Congo, a match that would decide Egypt's fate. If they won, they would qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. The score: first minute, 93rd minute, one chance left, a penalty. Who else steps up? He runs up, smashes the ball into the net, and then Egypt have done it. They are going to the World Cup, and it's all because of one man. That moment wasn't just about football, it was about an entire nation believing again. Mohamed Salah's journey is not just about football, it's about resilience, perseverance. It's about proving that no dream is too big, no rejection is final, and no failure defines you. They told him he wouldn't make it, that he wasn't good enough for the Premier League. But now, he is one of the greatest players in football history, from a dusty village in Egypt to the biggest stadiums in the world, from a Chelsea reject to the King of Liverpool, from a young boy with a dream to a national hero. If this story inspired you, hit that like button, comment your favorite Salah moment, and subscribe for more football stories.